If you're like me, you're terrible at delegating. By the time you give it to somebody else, you could have done it yourself. It always comes out better if you do it yourself. It's way faster. So delegation has never been my strength. The challenge without delegating is you burn out. You're also not elevating your team. You're not helping them grow. So let me tell you about EOS, Delegate and Elevate. Everybody has an amount of hours they work when they're at their absolute best. So let's just say you're at your best when you work 50 hours a week. If your job requires you to work 60 hours a week, you're working at 120% of your time. That'll last for a while. For me, it lasted for years until I burned out. It's not effective. So what we teach at EOS is we want you working in areas that give you energy. Things where you're working in your unique ability, where time and space expands. So what we have you do is write down everything you do in a month. Everything from booking appointments to giving speeches. And you put it in one of 4 quadrants. Things that you love to do and you're great at. Ideally, that's where you're spending all your time. You have lots of energy. Energy's contagious. Other people could feel your energy. Things you like to do and you're good at. That's also a good place to be. Anywhere above this line is great. Things you don't like to do and you're good at. That is what I call hell. It is where I spent most of my career. I'm very embarrassed to say my kids used to call me the bitch CEO, and I think they were right, because I spent all my time doing things I didn't like to do but was good at, and it drained my energy. And my drained energy turned me into a bitch. I wasn't nice. And how did my employees feel when they hung up the phone with me when I wasn't so pleasant? It was bad for me, it was bad for them. The last quadrant, things you don't like to do and you're not good at, those things you must get rid of. What happened to me, and I think happens to many leaders, is you hate those things so you think nobody else likes them. But that's not true. There are actually people who like doing those things. Now, once you've figured this out, unfortunately, you can't get rid of all of it at once. You're going to have to create a plan. I like to get rid of at least one thing a quarter. And how do you create that plan? There are things you'll see you could eliminate. Today, there are a lot of things you could automate. Everybody should be taking advantage of what could be automated. And then there are things you could delegate. Do at least one thing a quarter. Create a plan until you get to a place where you're spending all your time in these top 2 quadrants.